we're all good. Yeah. Okay, good morning. Thank you to
Morning. Good
everyone who are
morning.
here. Thank you. We hope we can all be in the same room, but this is more than enough. Being with you live. Thank you very much for tuning in despite the challenging weather conditions we're all experiencing. We all hope you and your loved ones are safe and well. So good morning to all once again. Pangalawang round na namin to. I'm Hannah Murillo, Executive Director and Psychologist at MLAC Institute. Before we begin, we'll let you know a bit more about us, MLAC. Mindfulness, Love, and Compassion Institute for Psychosocial Services, or MLAC Institute, which is also the initials of Dr. Hani, formerly because of that, is a pioneering, so MLAC Institute is a pioneering mental health nonprofit organization that is locally grown and internationally recognized to address the gap of mental health care access against the urgent needs of Filipinos in the Philippines and overseas. National social scientist and practitioner Dr. Hani Terendang founded MLAC in 2010 to address this, and especially in underserved communities that have experienced trauma and marginalization by different social factors. MLAC Institute is a team of highly trained psychologists and allied professionals that continues and builds on the 5 decades of experience of Dr. Hani Terendang to provide different mental health services using applications of clinical psychology grounded in culture-based practices and global mental health approaches. If you share the same mission and would like to partner with us, do feel free to read more about us or message us through our social media channels. And also, you can call or Viber us through our mobile. So now I would also like to introduce to you the three experts we're having this morning. In conversation are Teacher Tina Zamora. Hi, Teacher
Hello. Good
Tina.
morning, everyone.
Teacher Tanya Velasco.
Morning.
And our founder, Dr. Hani Tarandang.
Hi.
Hi. A bit of introduction to the three before they start making kwentuhan tungkol sa parenting. Teacher Tina Zamora is a family life and child development specialist. She's the founding director of Nest School, a parenting content creator with a radio show on DZMM called Safe Space, and is a candidate of PhD psychology at the Ateneo de Manila University. Teacher Tanya Velasco is an early childhood educator and specialist. She advocates for respectful care from birth or respectful parenting using resources for infant educators or RIE principles. Teacher Tanya is a proud mom of three. Dr. Hani Kerendang is called National Social Scientist because she's able to bring the science of psychology, her clinical practice of 50 years for the understanding and well-being of Filipino people. She is author of 15 books and founder of PhilPlay and MLAC Institute. So just a bit of trivia that three of them have three children. So lahat sila proud mom of three, hindi lang si Teacher Tanya. So let's now proceed to our first question. We'll start the conversation and maybe we can start defining what the terms we'll all be using, no? Teacher Tina, if I may address to you the first question, maybe you would like to enlighten us or you've had some experiences of parents asking you, what are the common misconceptions regarding entitlement and empowerment? I'd, I'd like you to please discuss this first.
Well, when we teach parents how to connect with their children, they sometimes misconstrue definitions of entitlement and empowerment. We want to empower our children, yet at the same time, when they do show the effects of you validating their emotions, understanding them, and connecting them, they feel na, ay, Teacher Tina, you're raising an entitled generation or a spoiled generation. And then I have to correct them and say, um, this is, it's not spoiling them. I also don't want a spoiled child.
Yeah.
It's also not something I want to espouse. But empowering them is different,
Yeah.
or having them feel seen is different. So dayon, they just mix up the definitions of all three, and
Yeah.
then nawawala yung the beauty of empowerment.
Right, right. Thanks, Teacher Tina. Yeah, it's a very common misconception or confusion because it's not also very easy to
Mm.
distinguish between empowerment and entitlement. Sometimes it's easy to confuse the two. Maybe we'll try to sort that out. Yeah, person who's entitled or entitlement, I think, means that the person thinks he deserves special treatment without working for it, just as because who I am, I deserve this special treatment or exemptions from rules and all that. So that's being entitled. But being empowered is different. Being empowered means you have your own sense of self, you are confident, and you're able to speak out your truth, and you're able to affect people, make a difference in the community, in the family, or where you live. So I think there's really a very that's very important difference. So I would like to have an empowered child, but not an entitled child.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would Teacher Tanya, would you like to chime in?
Actually, I have a question because my
Mm-mm.
children are very much younger than your children, Teacher Tina and Teacher Honey. Um, I would always experience this, no? Parang they would always, when you say something, they would always have a comment. And then my
Mm.
husband and I would look at each other and say, iba talaga nung panahon natin kasi tayo susunod lang tayo. Can you give me like an explanation? Why is it like that? Sumunod ka na lang, ang dami mo pang sinasabi, di ba? That's what some parents would say. So how do I understand this in a perspective na parang, ano, how do I see this? Not na parang I would judge my children, but I want to understand them even more. Especially they're twins. May 11, 10, 12. So maybe we have viewers here na ganun din yung age ng kids. And our kids would like to say some, always have a last say. Parang may ganon. So can you help me understand my children? Okay.
Yeah. You like me to
Yeah, go ahead, Doc.
okay. Yeah, palagi silang may sagot, like they're able to talk back. And sometimes that's misconstrued as disrespect by a lot of parents, no? Okay. I think first we have to also there are nuances to it, no? Because we want children who are able to speak out in this age. During this age, we want children to be just not be quiet and just not just swallow whatever is being given to them, but we want children who are able to understand and then speak their truth. So that's what is happening now. The children are able to explain, maybe called talk back, but maybe we have to put in the core value of respect here first before we. So there's a way that they talk back to you and answer your or make explanations that is with respect, and there is a way that they might do it in a disrespectful way. I think we have to distinguish that first because, for
Mm.
example, I think the core value of parenting, one of the, for me, the non-negotiables in parenting is mutual respect. So I think we have to start with that. But we also have to look at the larger picture. Like last before, maybe during my time, you know, you just have to obey and keep quiet. No questions, no answering back. Just be a good girl. Obey quietly and do not talk. Don't be heard. You just quiet there in your room where we have visitors, etc. And don't talk back to us. So when you grow up that way, and then you have your own children, of course, your expectation would be similar,
The same.
intergenerational. No? So the same thing, you think that that should be the case. But I think we have to realize something very, very important during this time. The world is very, very different from when we, as parents, as children, were growing up. The parenting then was simple, maybe not as difficult. the stresses of outside world, especially the digital stress, digital addiction, distractibility, the lack of kindness that we see, the lack of respect for human dignity. I have to say this because it's all over the world, and the overload, the information overload is really a big thing. They have so many things that they watch and see, and it impacts on them, so they become very parang
Overwhelmed.
distracted, overwhelmed. That's the word, overwhelmed, and so they have to kind of do something about that. Being overwhelmed is a very it's not a good experience to be in for a long time. Of course, if you're overwhelmed, you
Mm.
should have a way of dealing with it. So I think that's one. The difference in our world is very, very big, very stark.
Mm.
Just think of the traffic. That's already a big thing. You think the small thing is one of the biggest stresses in our lives now, which wasn't then before. Before I would drive from my house in San Juan to Padre Fara in 30 minutes, eight, I'd be in time for my work at 8:30. That's never gonna happen now. It's like 2 hours. Okay. That's just one factor. What about the influx of all kinds of information that's so strongly assaulting us, no? Especially our children? I would say assaulting children. They have to like say no, and you have to protect yourself from all this onslaught of stimulation that's so ever present. So that's another thing we have to think about that the
Mm.
difference in the world now and the world before. Maybe Teacher Tina would like to add.
I think Doc Honey explained it correctly that most of the parents that I talk to think, iba na yung mga bata ngayon. And Doc Honey clearly described that hindi po nag-iba yung bata, nag-iba yung mundo na ginagalawan ng bata.
Mm-mm.
So, hindi every generation, every older generation complains about the younger generation. It's not new, it's not new.
Correct.
Siguro the discomfort of Tanya is also the discomfort of a lot of parents because it was different from when we were growing up. And siguro si Tanya mabait eh. Siguro sinasabi ni
Thank
Tanya,
you.
sumunod naman ako, ngayon okay naman ako. So bakit hindi sila sumusunod,
Oo
Teacher
nga.
Tina? And I also want to ask Tanya, well, you reared empowered children and outspoken children and you want them to be outspoken. And then nung naging outspoken sila, parang wow, lumabas na yung our childhood and
Mhm.
there's a difference already. So I want to encourage parents na kung gusto po natin na maging opinionated ang ating mga anak, and then we're not consistent about it. How do they report bullying if they're not outspoken? How
Mhm.
do they report if their boundaries are crossed, 'di ba? How do they distinguish a non-violent relationship to a peaceful relationship? So we want them to be outspoken,
Yeah.
tapos hindi tayo consistent when it comes to us parenting them.
Mm.
So if we want an unspoken child, tama si Doc Honey, the basic requirement is respect. If you respect and the way you speak to me, anak, um, gusto mo bang sabihin sa akin ganito? Pwede ba natin gawing ganito mo ko kausapin? Kasi nasasaktan ako pag ganyan mo ko kausapin. So there are ground rules that they have to follow. You're not spoiling the child by letting them talk the way they want to talk. But there are ground rules that we follow so that you gain my respect and I gain your respect. So ganito tayo makipag-usap sa isa't isa.
Mutual respect, no? It's
Mm.
Yeah.
non-negotiable. Of course, parenting is always an interaction. It's not one way. I think that's one thing we have to make very clear. You're the parent, but it's not one way. You're just not going to tell your child everything and then the child will just absorb. Actually, most of the time, that's what happens. But we would like to hear the point of view of the child. In fact, we have to hear, for me, the wisdom of the child. I've experienced many children, 2 years old, 4 years old. I learn from them because they have innate wisdom. I'd like to,
Mm.
I wrote that in a book uh, to emphasize that children have two very important things that we need to see and accept: wisdom and truth telling
Mm.
before they are taught. not to tell the truth or to, you know what I'm saying, to lie, in other words. Yeah, so it's really like too many factors there, no? But maybe we also need to look at the non-negotiables and also to see what children have that we do not squelch or we do not cover up or stop, but encourage. So it's not easy. What do we encourage? What do we discourage? Or what do, you know, I think we go again to another aspect of parenting, which is discipline.
Yeah.
Discipline na tayo. Okay.
So, maraming mga magulang ang nagsasabing, o Teacher Tina, yung kind ng na tinuturo mong pagdidisiplina, hindi yan effective sa amin. Sa amin, hindi yan susunod kung ganyan. Eh, sabi ko naman, hindi naman obedience yung goal, discipline yung goal. Magkaiba yun. Diba?
Yeah.
If you want immediate obedience, that's very easy to do. You can just scare the child to do
Right.
it. Diba? So, and we grew up that way. And a lot of the older parents, they think, but that's the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Then why do we have a mental health crisis now if that was the right way?
Yeah, good.
So, and then we go naman to the extreme na yung mga nag-experience naman ng mental health crisis na nagiging magulang na ngayon, masyado naman silang naging lenient. Na wala na yung discipline dahil ayokong maramdaman niya, yung maramdaman ko. So totally I'm going to be so opposite from my parents that I'm just gonna give them whatever they want. Diba? And they forget that it's always a middle ground, diba? I'm sure Tanya and Doc Honey will agree with me that parenting is really a middle ground for everything. You can't be corporal and yet you also can't be lenient because children need boundaries.
Exactly. Yeah.
So si Tanya, ano
So
experience mo sa
important.
ano mo?
Kasi
Toddler students. Ayan,
Yeah.
madaming parents ang nakikinig na toddlers ang anak eh.
I like what Dr. Honey and Teacher Tina said. Soon to be doctor, Teacher
Oh,
Tina.
soon to be doctor. Pray natin yan.
um, that it starts with mutual respect. But the question is, how do we start? Kasi we don't just um uh, communicate with the child when they're older, but we should start with the foundation. So, as a
Mm.
parent, no, I want to ask you both, what are the basic foundations so that we won't raise a child who is spoiled, but rather set the boundary earlier on. Because I believe that setting a foundation, sobrang important yun. It's really an investment in the life of the child. So, I just want to ask you both, ano ba yung importanteng foundation na bata pa lang, baby pa lang, infant pa lang, dapat clear na sa parent, ito yung gagawin ko. So that hopefully you will not make the same mistakes, di ba? Na
Yeah.
ayaw mo na ulitin ulit.
Mm.
So that's my question.
Yeah, I'd like to pick up on that because I think we have to look at the basic needs of the child and of every human being. So maybe I'll just talk about what we're talking about now because there are seven of them. Well, the first one is every person, infant to the old person, must know that I matter. I am important. I am not nothing. And I can feel that because my parent takes care of me. Of course, infant, you you give what's needed, the basic survival, you know, food, etc. I matter. When they grow up, I matter because of who I am. But sometimes parents will make the children matter because of their high grades, you know, conditionally, because of the way they're so quiet, things like that. No, so that one. But the other very basic need also of the child is to be disciplined. I think it's not just the need of the right of the child, but the right of the child to be disciplined. Children ask for discipline. I will give my favorite all-time example of that, of a 2.5-year-old boy. Everybody knows this already. The mother is a teacher, so she was reading a thesis, and then the boy puts his dirty tissue on the bed, and the mother looks at him and then continues to read the thesis. Then the boy got the other dirty tissue and put it on the bed and did that kind of movement. And then he said, Mom, you have to scold me because I'm doing this thing. He was correct. What was he asking for? was asking for limits. He was asking for discipline. He was asking for consistency. You told me before this is not, tell me that you're not doing your job as a mom, in other words. That's the subliminal message. So, so anyway, I cannot forget that because I was the mother. And I learned from my 2.5-year-old child. See, they have wisdom because I was not doing my job. I should tell him, why don't put your dirty shoe on the bed. So what I did was, okay, son, don't put your dirty shoe on the bed. And he was happy. So that's the other thing. But there are many more, but maybe Teacher Tina would like to say something about that.
I think parents think that discipline is always negative.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, so parang dapat napapalo,
Mm,
dapat napapagalitan. When in
mm,
fact discipline is really to teach. And what are you teaching your child? And I also learned this from Tanya when I was interviewing her before with her toddler class, that it's a bigger picture. It's about kunyari baby pa sila, may routines kayo, kailan siya kumakain, kailan siya naliligo, kailan siya natutulog. When you establish routines, then the behavior of the child is also consistent kasi she knows what's going to happen next.
mhm.
There is no guessing, there is no because behavior is the communication of a child to the parent. This
Right.
is how I speak to you. Ah, pag nagmi-misbehave ang anak natin, dapat ang tinatanong natin sa sarili natin, anong sinasabi niya sa akin? Hindi yung ano ang behavior na pinapakita niya. Anong sinasabi niya sa akin? Siguro sinasabi niya sa akin na gutom siya. Kaya siya nagtatantrum. Or kailangan niyang matulog ngayon. Hindi dapat pagalit ka agad. Intindihin muna natin. So you have to change your perception of discipline to a
Mhm.
positive one because first, Doc Honey says a child needs it. Um, and at the same time, it doesn't have to be negative. So pag may nagtatanong sa akin na, teacher, okay bang mag-face the wall? Okay ba yung mga ganitong kinds of discipline? I ask the question back to them. Yan ba yung pangangailangan ng anak mo ngayon? Yan ba yung rason kung bakit siya nagmi-misbehave?
Mhm.
Kasi baka hindi eh. So if the consequence has no connection to the action, that's not a proper consequence.
Okay.
So you ask them and you always have to make them succeed. So kunwari, ito yung lagi ko natatawa yung mga nakakausap kong parent pag sinasabi ko to. Kunwari may nabasag na plato. May nabasag na plato. Alam mo na naman na nabasag ng bata yung plato eh. Pero ang usual tanong ng magulang, ikaw ba yung nakabasag ng plato? So you're already propping them up to lie, to say another story.
Mhm.
Hindi mo alam kung bakit nabasag niya yung plato. Baka naman masyadong malaki para sa kamay niya. So, dun kagad tayo sa punishment nagpupunta. 'Di ba? So, pag may nabasag, ang sasabihin mo, nakikita ko may basag na plato, ikikwento mo ba sa akin kung ano nangyari? So it opens up a conversation with your child and it's not about punishment anymore. It's really about setting boundaries, connecting with your child and teaching them na dapat next time mas maingat ako pag hawak ko tong platong to. 'Di ba? So some parents jump kaagad sa bakit mo binasag yung plato? Ganyan. So that's also the same with discipline. You can be disciplining your child even with the kindest child. You're still disciplining that child. It doesn't have to be a bad behavior all the time.
Yeah, I'd like to jump into that because I have this talk called The Power of Compassionate Discipline.
Mm,
Power is the key word, no?
yeah.
You don't have to shout. You can whisper. And my favorite example is when my son was trying to violate a rule about the car, I think, and then he knew the rule. It was very clear. And then he asked me again, baka makalusot. So sabi ko, come here. Malayo siya, come here. Put your ear near my mouth. And then I whispered very, very softly, absolutely not. Yes, no, very effective. You can be very firm. I think you can be very firm, even if you're not shouting, even if you're not scaring the child. You can be very firm, and the child will right away know whether you are convinced, you are decisive or not. That remember that a child smells tentativeness like a dog smells fear. So how can
Agree.
being decided? No, you have to be decisive and clear inside yourself. So that goes to what I call mindful parenting. It starts with us. For example, the child spilled the water on the bed. So what's the first thing you do? Ah, no, no, like that, no? So that is not mindful parenting. That is being reactive, because in mindful parenting, you don't react, you respond. So when you react, emotion, action. When you respond, emotion, pause, action. So your action is a better action, and usually you don't regret it, because when we're impulsive, we're very angry, we tend to be more angry than what the situation calls for, no? So we regret it after a while. Example, the mother is very tired coming from work, and then there's traffic and there's irritation about the co-employee, the co-worker, etc. So she comes home, and then the child nga spills water on the bed. I'm so very, very angry. But if she's aware that I'm here, when I came home, I already have these feelings of irritation, I'm tired, etc. So you're mindful of what's inside you, so you don't project it on the child. So if you look at that situation, maybe 10% or 20% of your anger comes from the behavior of the child, but 80% of that anger comes from what you already have inside you. So when you're mindful of that, you don't bring forth and pour your anger that was already inside you, but you own it instead of projecting it on the child. So I think that's very, very important for parents to.
That's very nice for you to say, Doc Honey, because with my experience also with parents,
Mhm.
Teacher Tina, kasi pag umuuwi ako, alam na naman nila na masama pagod ako galing trabaho. Ano ba naman yung ganito? Ano ba naman yung
Mhm.
linisin na nila yung kwarto nila? Syempre sa taas ang boses ko kasi pagod ako, galing akong traffic. And I have to pull them back and say, but you're the adult in that relationship.
Yeah, right.
And then they stop. You're dealing with minors. It's not automatic for them to
Right.
not connect with you when you come home from the office. They really want to be with you because they
Exactly.
haven't been with you the whole day.
Right. That's
And
so
then
important.
yeah, and then I remind them, ikaw yung adult sa relationship na to, ah. So ikaw yung dapat may gawin.
Yeah.
Ganun talaga. Mahirap talaga because you're raising a human being. And what's nice with what Doc Honey said is parenting is really about the parent. 90% of the time. It is the issue of the parent. Di ba, Tanya? Parang
Yes.
mag-step back and say, teka, parang issue ko to eh. Hindi ito
Uh,
issue ng ginagawa ng anak ko ngayon. It's
mm.
like when you get mad at a toddler who's throwing a tantrum. Why are you mad at that toddler? That's a toddler throwing a tantrum. They're really throwing a tantrum. Now, if you come to me and your teenager is throwing a tantrum, dun tayo mag-usap. 'Di ba? Kasi dapat ang teenager hindi na nagtatantrum. So pero pag sinisigawan mo, pag pinapalo mo ang isang 2-year-old dahil nagtatantrum siya, when in fact, the developmental stage of that 2-year-old is emotion regulation, 'di ba? Yung hindi niya makontrol pa ang ano niya. Tapos yung modelo, which is you, ganun din. Mataas din ang boses, 'di ba? Malakas din. Tapos magiging physical pa minsan dahil lang gusto mo tumahimik. It doesn't have to be that way. And then most of them, Doc Honey, when they come to me, they say, guilty nga po kami pagkatapos namin gawin yun eh. Yun
Yes.
na yun eh. Yun na yung wisdom and mother's intuition mo na nagsasabi sa'yo, parang meron kang maling nagawa.
Mhm.
'Di ba? So yun eh. Parang I want to believe that every parent has an internal intuition of being a parent. It's just ang daming factors, sabi ng Doc Honey. Ang daming factors eh, na pumapasok. At tuwan-tuwa nga ako nung ini-interview ko si Tanya noon na during her classes for toddlers, which I want Tanya to revive ha, yung mga toddler classes niya dahil tumigil yun eh. Yung magkakaapo na ako, gusto ko mag-attend siya ng toddler class ni Tanya. Ang
Yeah.
rule, ang rule ni Tanya sa mga magulang, walang hahawak ng cellphone habang klase. Yung
Yeah.
mga magulang, hindi nyo pwedeng, saka na yung videos, saka na yung pictures, I'll have somebody take it siguro for the class. But I just want you to give your whole attention to your child. And it's very, very hard to do that right now.
Mhm.
I
And
want
kasi
to, yeah,
because of
that's
madaming
right, Teacher
factors.
Tina. No? I want to say hi. I have some parents in my program before listening now. And
Yeah.
it was so hard for them. Yung
It was so hard for
isasubmit mo yung
them.
phone mo, tapos lalagay mo sa box ko. It was so hard for them because of course as a parent you want to take ano ba gusto mo i-video pero yung for it's really actually a brain practice for your brain to
Mm.
to regulate and then your emotion to regulate and to enjoy your child in the moment. Now I want to talk about what Teacher Tina was saying about triggers. 'Di ba
Yeah.
normally kapag tumataas yung boses mo or nagagalit ka sa anak mo, you're always triggered. I think that's a very popular term right now.
Yes, yes.
So, di ba? Bakit ba? Bakit tayo natitrigger when when your child answers back, not really answer back, but really explains himself. So, maybe I'd ask you, and bakit ba? Bakit normally you call it, I'm so triggered, and how do I handle that?
Yeah, yeah. I'd like to jump in because I think we have talk here about intergenerational patterns.
Mm.
You are triggered because whatever was done to you, maybe it's stored in your body. So, for example, just example, if it's a trauma and you think you sorted it out in your mind, that's not going to work because the trauma is stored in our body. So the trigger starts with the body. So we are not aware.
Mm.
That's why when we're triggered, we immediately do something. But unless we are mindful, oops, that is trigger ako. Wait, let me do something. Then we can handle the trigger.
Mm.
Kasi kung minsan ginagawa, na-trigger ako paano? Ganun di ba? O, kaya talagang ganun kasi na-trigger ako. Hindi, na-trigger ka, how do you handle your trigger? Because there's a way of handling your trigger. Being mindful of it, knowing what's going on inside you, in your body, in your mind, in your whole person, so that you don't project it to another person. Just owning it is, I think, so important. So awareness is essential.
Yeah, I agree. Yes, it's always abused, that term. Especially by especially by let's say 20, 30-year olds na
Yes.
I'm getting triggered, therefore I will not associate or
Yes.
engage. When in fact, you should be engaging with yourself when you're being triggered. Where is this trigger coming from? And my kasi syempre especially after the pandemic na uso yung self-help, dapat yung mga nagti-trigger sa'yo, ganito ang gawin mo. Tapos syempre na-abuse din yon na, ay triggering yan sa akin, therefore I will not
Yes.
engage.
Yeah.
But I also want to remind parents that, yes, but that child is still waiting for you, ha? You can't say, teka lang, natitrigger ako. Hindi naman niya maiintindihan yon. What you can say is probably, anak, can you just give me 5 minutes? I'm feeling something. And then after that 5 minutes, I'll become a better mom.
Exactly.
Just 5 minutes in the banyo or in the, 'di ba? And then I'll go back, medyo nagkalma. Pwedeng hindi mo na-address yung trigger na yon, pero at least na tama si Doc Honey yung mag-out of body experience ka muna. Lalabas ka muna, watching yourself, losing it with your child and saying, op, teka lang. Hindi naman ito tungkol sa kanya. 'Di ba?
Yeah. Hindi naman ito tungkol sa kanya is a key word to talk
Mm-mm.
about intergenerational pattern.
Yes, yes.
We have absorbed patterns from our own parents. That's why when we say we may not be aware that we have absorbed it. We are usually aware of one thing, that I will do the opposite of what my parent did to me.
Mm-mm.
That grossly, but not the nuances of it. No. We are
Mm-mm.
not aware of the nuances that I'm triggered because maybe during when I was this age, that my mother, whatever, did this to me. You being aware of that, because I'd like to make a statement that intergenerational patterns are very, very strong, very,
Yeah,
very difficult to handle
yeah.
as a human being. Why? Because when we are very, very young, you're a very young child and your cognitive development has not yet reached the point of abstract or critical thinking, we absorb everything effortlessly, subliminally, totally, without critical thinking, and we absorb it very deeply. So I always say that uh, when your mother, for example, is unloving, you do not see your mother as unloving. You see yourself as unlovable. You cannot say that my mother did this wrong because we are always absorbing without critical thinking, without effort, totally through our body as an infant or, an adult or a toddler that we are absorbing totally. So it's really that awareness that we have to really look for and become very aware because uh, the trigger is sometimes unconscious. It's been absorbed very long. And we had no verbal ability yet to label it. So it's just there. And that's really something we need to know that I'm triggered because it's there, no? It's been there and I'm not aware of it.
Actually, Doc Honey, I'm very impressed with the Gen Zs, this generation of parents of wives, or when they have relationships and they say, I think I'm going to decide not to have children. And then we get confused, or we get affected. Ha, bakit ayaw mo mag-anak? Kunyari yung mga anak ko. May anak ko kung ganyan eh, may nagsalita na
And then you say,
I don't think I'm gonna have children.
um,
And when at first parang you're uncomfortable, and at the same time you're saying, wow, it's because they feel not ready to be
mm,
to be parents.
right.
And that's a big decision. And they don't want to give, let's say, an intergenerational curse if they know that I still have to heal some things inside me. Now, when you're healing naman things inside you and you're already a parent,
Mhm.
and you can't say, eh kasi yung mom ko ganito sa akin nun eh. Eh lalong-lalo na ngayon, Doc Honey, maraming mga magulang ang nakatira pa dun sa magulang nila. So
Yes.
nandun din yung nagbigay sa'yo ng trigger at yung binibigyan mo ng disiplina, nandun din, di ba? So you have a multi-generational home with an intergenerational curse. And then you're going to tell your mother, you did it all wrong. You did it all wrong. That's why I'm doing it
Wow.
right. 'Di ba? So, maiinsulto yung magulang, ha, okay ka naman ngayon. 'Di ba? So, ang sasabihin mo, syempre, iba yung, alam mo, at mommy kasi iba yung panahon noon, wala pang gadget, ganito, ganito. So, ganito ang gagawin natin ngayon sa kanya. So, I talk to the lolas who are
Mhm.
taking care of their grandchildren. They're
Yes.
not supposed to be taking care of their grandchildren. They're supposed to be spoiling them. But then you have OFW parents who leave the children with the lolas, and the lolas are more confused because this is not the same child that they raised. It's a different world. Their gadgets na kulang na lang ibigay mo na para lang tumahimik na yung bata.
Mhm.
And then they don't follow. You're not used to it, that they're not following. My child just followed me when I said something. They only speak when I speak to them. And then here's this child who speaks back. So it's really a system. It's really a system and a village and a community of
Right.
parents that should be
Yes.
helping each other out talaga.
Yes. And I'd like to say something like it's a sandwich generation, they call it, no? The
Mm,
sandwich
mm.
generation. You're raising your own kids, you're somewhere in midlife, and then you are taking care in a way of your parents in the same household, in the same home. So you are really in the middle, literally and figuratively, the middle of the two generations. So how do you deal with that, especially in terms of discipline? I think that's where it gets very tricky, and it also has to do a lot with cultural stuff. No? Because, for example, your child who you are the lola, so the your grandchild, for example, uh, is not supposed to eat sweet
Sweets.
or ice cream or
Yeah.
something like that before only after finishing the meal. But the Lola goes there and happily gives, right in the same household, gives the child, the ice cream, which is so good. the child cannot resist it. The Lola feels so happy giving it to the child. So are you as in the middle, what are you supposed to do? That's very difficult, no? Let me share my own experiences. I lived with my mom, who's very unconditionally loving, but of course spoiling my kids. So I tried it. I told my kids as they were still young, I said, Lola, remember, Lola is my mother. Do you understand that? Yes, she's my mom. Okay. So she told me what's right and wrong. She taught me to know what's right, to do what's right and what's wrong. So now I am your mother. So her job is done. Job was to tell me what's right and wrong. Now it's my job to tell you what's right and wrong. So if your Lola gives you ice cream, you know that that's not what you should have. Even if you have it or you don't have it, you know that I am the one giving you now the discipline, the right and wrong. And because this is very tricky because when I lived in the US, it's different. No? They tell the middle person tells the mom, no, don't give that. That's not my ano. That's my no way of disciplining them. But it will offend the Lola in the Filipino culture. And we have to respect the culture. So instead of offending the Lola, explain to the child and they do the disciplining. And I think it worked because they're very disciplined. But they grew up being very disciplined and not punished, not so traumatized, not traumatized, but very disciplined, self-disciplined, because they absorbed it. I was wondering, will they be able to absorb it even if they're still young? I think as long as you repeat it, depending on the occasion, they get it. Children are smart; they will get it. So I think that's one way to preserve because we don't want to break the family just because of ice cream, something like that. So I think I think we have to do it in the way that we respect the culture, respect each other, and be effective. So, and not, cause conflict. Because I've had cases where one of the worst things is to have a conflict within the home.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Same
really.
with same with spouses.
Oh, yeah.
Diba? So if Doc
Diba?
Honey is talking about multi-generational, that's also the consistency of the parents.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'd
na
like to add also, no, because I work closely with lolas and moms for babies naman.
Mhm.
Sobrang daming conflict. Let's say, I'll just share an example. Sabi raw nung lola dun sa mommy, binigyan ko ng andador yung apo ko. Bakit hindi niya ginagamit? So the mom talked to me and I said, ano ba tingin mo? Paano mo ba sinabi? Sabi ko po, sabi ni Teacher Tanya kasi dapat di tayo nag-walker. Sige, gamitin mo na lang ako. But I always tell the parents in my class, the best line you could always say to the grandma or the grandpa, lolo, is we are all advocates for the child. Lahat naman po ng ginagawa natin para sa apo niyo. So when they
Mm.
hear that daw, parang nahihimasmasan si lola and lolo. So sabi ko, picturean mo na lang, nakatabi yung andador. Tapos balik mo sa storage mo para lahat masaya, di ba? But that's wrong. But then yun, you have to be respectful and be able to communicate with your parents. Kasi kung hindi mo i-communicate and then you just assume and then you make
Yeah.
comments
Yeah.
later on, bakit kasi pinagamit yan? Sabi ko, dapat hindi. So, yun, those are small details that you have to be able to verbalize with your own parents, which is very hard also to do.
Mm.
So,
Mhm. Very hard for young parents to do that, especially.
Oh, Shretina? Ayun. If I may
Yes.
quickly just segue to the comments.
Oh, yes.
Parang ako gusto ko lang makinig talaga. But no questions yet. People are really appreciating this time with the three of you. Thank you very much. All the thanks. We even see someone tuning in from Canada. Hello, Rafi. Thanks for tuning in. And then see Ma'am Caroline said if elected as a lawmaker, I will push for a parent education seminar that all couples have to undergo before getting married. Parenting is a continuous process. Maybe we could talk about continuous process. You mentioned before that it's not just the child developing,
Mm.
but also the parent. Maybe the three of you can talk about this.
Yeah,
Tita Honey
I can
mentioned it in
start
the talk.
there. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
You're a different parent from your eldest child to your youngest child.
Yes.
So you cannot say that you are the same parent
No.
from your eldest to your youngest. First of all, you're not the same person. So you were 21, for example, or 22 at your first, and then you're 29 at your third. You're definitely different.
Exactly.
So I'm also different now parenting them because they're all adults and then I'm perimenopausal. So ang daming nangyayari, 'di ba? So magkakaapo na and then you're like this. So you cannot say, "Oh, I treated them the same way." You can't. Even with twins, you don't treat them the same way. It's not spoiling them. It's just understanding that every child is unique and every parent is unique, especially dun sa progression nung edad. Na iba ang edad mo dun sa bunso mo, dun sa panganay mo.
Baka.
So, pwedeng sabihin ng mga anak mo, ang daya, bakit si ate ganito yung rule? Tapos ako ganito na. Tapos sasabihin mo, si ate, pinanganak siya, kunyari 2000. Ikaw pinanganak ka ganito. Ano yung mga nagbago sa world? Nagkaroon na ng internet, na nagkaroon na ng ganito. So, mag-iiba rin dapat. But the basic thing that you're going to tell them is, but you still all have rules to follow. So you don't compromise on boundaries, on rules, on getting to know your children, but also understand that you are also developing as a parent.
Yes,
So
yes.
for example, yung asawa ko kasi medyo mas matanda siya sa akin. So, ibig sabihin, there was a time na teenager yung bunso namin, senior citizen na siya.
Oh, okay.
So, ang layo nun, di ba? So, iisipin, so talagang hindi magkakaintindihan yon. And he's not even the grandfather, he's the father. So, he needed to understand. So, ako yung sandwich, Doc Honey. Ako yung taga-explain dun sa senior, taga-explain dun sa teenager na, teka lang, kailangan yung magkita sa gitna. So, may mga ganong factors. It's not just about the obedience of your child, but understanding the system around the discipline or the empowerment na there is a elderly father, there is a teenager, talagang hindi magkikita yan sa gitna. So, you have to treat it as such that the family is a system and your child is part of it and you are part of that system also.
For
Yes.
my part, no? Ay, say, go
Yes.
ahead,
Go
Doc.
ahead,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
I think tama si Teacher Tina. Na ramdam ko yan. Nung 5 years yung gap ng second child ko and then my youngest Nathan. Wala na akong energy mag-parent
Oh.
as, wow. Parang mas, ang dami kong energy nung first child, second child, tapos nung third, okay na yan. Wala nga masyadong picture eh. Di ba? O, wala na scrapbook. So, I really saw myself change.
Yeah.
Emotionally, my presence, yung patience ko napakaikli, unlike before. And then my daughters would notice that, why during our time? So, alam ko na yung mga comments nila. I hear that all the time. But one thing siguro is a foundation is that as a parent, I realize that I am a secure base from infant until pagtanda nila. When I say secure base, ang sarap ng feeling that they feel safe when they're with you. So infancy, you're the first person they will look to when they need milk, when they need a change of diaper. As they grow older, pag toddler, pag something is not going the way he expects it, like a routine, 'di ba, manonotice mo, ikaw yung unang hahanapin ng anak mo. And my prayers until they get older, I will still be a secure base when probably they're going through something, they will still look for you. Um, in a different way. Mag-share sila sa friends nila. My kids are going through that. They will share an issue with a friend, but they will also come to me. Sasabihin nila, ma, I told this to my friend, but I'm also telling you. So parang ang foundation doon is a secure base. The parent should be the secure base. And that your brain, they say, is more mature than that of your child. So you should be able to co-regulate their emotion. Never walk out on your child, never think low of them. Yun yung mga tendencies kasi as a parent, di ba? Hindi ko na kaya. Ang hirap, puyat na ako, di ba?
Minsan magtatampo ka
When you
pa.
just gave
Parang
birth, di ba?
yung ayaw mo ko kausapin, hindi rin kita
Oo, di rin
kakausapin.
kita kakausapin. Tapos silent treatment, parang
Oo.
yun yung mga madaling gawin kasi napakahirap talaga mag-parent. I would understand why some wouldn't want to parent. It really changes you totally. So that's just my take on that. That you will be the secure base of your child. That they will find their safety in you. So there.
Yes, I agree with that. I like to say something else also, but I agree with that even if they're 56. Okay, it's a different kind of interaction. You talk as adult to adult, but they consult you because they also recognize how you brought them up, and also they recognize your own opinion. They seek your opinion. That's a different way naman. You also seek their opinion. So parenting is a lifetime process until the end of your life and the end of what of
Walang finish line yan, Doc Honey.
so I'd like the comment that was given, I'd like to respond to it that she wanted to have a course on parenting, something like that. Because I always say that, if you are a labandera, you have to know how to wash clothes. You have to know how
Yeah.
if you are a driver, you have to have a driving skill. If you're a cook, you have to know how you have to have a cooking skill. But if to be a parent, there's absolutely no qualification needed at all,
Correct.
except you have a child. Whatever your condition is, age is, etc., ignorance, wisdom, etc., whatever you are, as long as you have a child, you are qualified. You are a parent.
And
There's nothing-
to continue with that, Doc Honey,
Yeah.
when we buy our phone or when we look for a job, we research so much about that phone and that
Correct.
job or that laptop, and we do not research about parenting.
Mhm.
Why is it that like that? And the reason why Tanya, Doc Honey, and I bring forth a lot of information about parenting is because you need to be researching about the most important thing that you are doing in your life right now, which is raising that human being.
Right. Yeah.
So if you can research about the latest iPhone or the latest laptop, please research about and follow only those that are qualified to give the information.
Marami kasi.
Marami kasi, 'di ba, Doc Honey? Pero Hannah, I think there's a question also that was posted on Facebook about
Yes.
boundaries.
Yeah, if it's okay, and thank you to everyone for still staying. Maybe we can just answer this question and hear our experts. I'll read it out. We have been hearing a lot about boundaries. Could we expound on the definition of boundaries? How do we explain the concept of boundaries, contextualizing it within the Filipino culture? Stokhani said, respecting the culture. So yeah, we would love to hear your thoughts on that. Thank you.
I can start para Doc Honey can end it.
Yes, please.
Uh, Children always need boundaries. So for example, meron kang toddler, 'di ba may boundary ka na hindi siya makakapasok sa kusina pag nagluluto si mommy. Boundary na kagad 'yon kasi mapapaso siya dun eh.
Mm.
That's a boundary, 'di ba? Doesn't have to be negative or positive. It's just a rule at home. Lalabas siya, kailangan may boundary yung oras. Dapat 9:00 nandito ka na, 'di ba? May boundary ka sa bahay mo that you are not allowing sleepovers in a different house. That's a boundary.
Mhm.
It doesn't need the participation of the child. It's just something that you set for the safety of that child. So you say these are the safety lines that I am marking out so that you will be safe. And then they will say, "Oy, bakit yung kaklase ko pwede namang hanggang 10 o'clock siya?" Boundary nila yon sa bahay nila. So, 'di ba? So yung bahay natin ganito yung boundary.
Yes.
So that's the boundary. Parang they need, as Doc Honey said, they crave for that. They usually complain about it, but later on in life, if you interview adults, they're
Mhm.
going to say, parang hindi ako nabigyan ng masyadong boundary nung bata ako. Hindi ako nabantayan. Masyadong takot ang magulang mag-set ng rule.
Mm.
Kasi baka hindi na sila gusto ng anak nila, baka naman masyadong stricto, ganyan. But actually, as Doc Honey said, they crave for those boundaries because it keeps them safe.
Right, right.
Yeah. Tanya, para si Doc
I
Honey
think
ang
boundaries,
final.
I'll speak in
Mhm.
the context of younger children.
Yeah.
Yes.
Routines are so important. Una, for safety and for security. The
Mhm.
way you build security so that your child will know when will I eat, when will I be fed, when will I take a bath, when will I sleep. If you don't set routines and a schedule for that, the child will be so ano ba, dysregulated.
Mm.
Yes. Well,
He wouldn't feel safe. He cannot even trust you to take care of him or her. So that's why routines should be set earlier on. Baby pa lang importante yan hanggang paglaki. And you will thank, your child will thank you later on. Ma, thank you ha. Kasi I know this is a set schedule for myself. Hindi pwedeng magulo pag may bata.
Yeah.
Kailangan talaga. That's my take on that. And that also, it's important that you discuss amongst everyone in the household. Kasi pwedeng may routine kayo na set, pero kung hindi consistent with your spouse or with yaya, hindi talaga siya ma-apply. So, it should be clear to everyone in the household. So, that's my take on boundaries.
well, thank you. Yes, yes, that's very clear. So one thing about that is that, of course, repeating what teacher Tina said, the family is a system. Okay, so every stress, joy, whatever is felt by one member is felt by every other member, whether they like it or not. They think they're not affected, they are because it's a system. So I think we have to, that's very, very important for our Filipino family, especially. Because I have this analogy about families, no? In the Western families, they're very individuals, okay? Individualized, mostly individual. In our family, in a Filipino family. So how do I make that very clear? It's a very interesting analogy of the eggs. The eggs, okay? In Western culture, the eggs are hard-boiled eggs, independent with their boundaries clear. And sometimes when it's in the Filipino family, sometimes we go to the extreme and become scrambled eggs. So you don't know who you are aside from your family. So everything is family. You don't have your own individual identity. It can go to that extreme. So I think I was saying that maybe what's good is to be in the middle. You have a frying pan, for example, and what's this fried eggs or sunny side up eggs with their yolks independent, but their whites are touching each other. So you
Mhm.
are together, but you have your individuality is respected. So every child is unique, but they're all connected. And the connection is a very important thing, I think, even these days that we have to know is a value in our culture. Because when I've worked with the Western culture, parang the connection, especially with the older mga lolo, lola, is really parang not as strong. So anyway, I couldn't help thinking of the eggs.
Thank you so much. Thank you for answering this and both from your experience and your expertise. So maybe we can end this conversation by maybe tackling a little bit about what for you is are the top signs that the child is becoming empowered versus entitled. So maybe some final words, words of wisdom. How can we cultivate that? But while you're thinking about it, can I please, sorry, can I please segue to inviting everyone to Parenting Academy this 9th August Saturday. So August 9, 9 o'clock a.m. to 11:30 a.m. It will be at the Mind Museum, our presenter this year. And yeah, we can't wait to see you there. It will be very similar to this, interactive, a safe space for people who are so passionate about raising a generation of children and also maybe raising themselves, their inner child, and being more just empowered about empowering their kids. So the title for this year is Empowering Young Nation Builders. We can all make a difference in our nation. How do we cultivate a generation of responsible citizens? So yeah, I think that's enough time to plug and do message us if you need to help in registering. I'll leave it on to Teachers Tanya, Teacher Tina, and Dr. Honey to
Siguro, I'll go
respond to
ahead.
this.
I'll start
Yes,
siguro for
please.
younger and then for the age
Yes.
group siguro. I work with younger children. One of the things we always tell parents, if you have here's the audience, if you just gave birth or you're raising a toddler, um it's very important to have an obedient child. Oh, susunod lang sa'yo, gagawin lahat ng gusto mo. But when you raise a child who is empowered, our goal is for them to cooperate with you. This is why I tell parents, no, when you change a diaper, you don't just change a diaper just for the sake of changing a diaper. You change a diaper and make it interactive. Because eventually, no, hindi lalaki din yung anak mo, siya nagagawa nun mag-isa. So you want a child who is cooperative rather than a child who is obedient. And we look through that as they grow older, when they become a toddler, you should be open to giving them choices, which is very hard as a parent to do. Kasi mas madali naman kunin yung t-shirt na pula kaysa tanungin yung anak mo, ano gusto mo, blue or red? 'Di ba? That takes a lot of time. But that's also a way of building a child that is able to think for himself and eventually be independent enough to do it for himself. You cannot always be there to help your child. So, as a parent, you need to find the balance. Kailan ko ba siya tutulungan? Oops, sobrang natutulungan ko na siya. So, your role is to be that, I always say, no, a secure base, that safety net for your child. And I pray that you'll be able to keep on doing it so that eventually, no, hanggang pagtanda nila, kayo pa rin yung lalapitan nila. So that's my encouragement for our parents who are raising young children, that you set the foundation earlier on. Talk to them, communicate to them, listen to them, because these are skills that will build their language later on, that will build their confidence, and that will empower them for life. So there.
Thank you, Tanya.
For
Teacher
me,
Tina?
when you are raising a child, you always have to remember that you are raising a future citizen, a future parent, a future employee, a future business owner. And you are not just raising a child, but you are raising a human being. So what you are doing with him now is what he's going to turn out into. So if you have that in mind already, if you are going to give in to everything he wants, he will become an employee that all the companies are going to complain about. They're going to say, this employee is entitled, etc. If you're going to raise an outspoken child, okay yon kasi kung may injustice, makakapagsalita siya about it. Kaya pag may nagsasabi sa akin na entitled tong generation of employees na to, bakit? Okay ba yung company? Baka naman hindi. So, so we have to also let's also veer away from also identifying a certain generation of children and just focus on the child that we have. And if we do that, if we focus on that child, and if we focus on the future that that child will be, then we're more focused on our job in managing that child and on being a parent to that child. And at the same time, stepping back and thinking, ano ba ang pwede ko pang gawin sa sarili ko para maging mas mabuting magulang?
Thank you. That's very
Wonderful, Tita Honey.
wonderful things. Yeah,
Thank you, Teacher Tina.
what the teacher Tina said brings me to our flagship program of MLAC, which is Parenting is Nation Building. So it's so important to what you said, think that far, it's not just now, and know that what kind of human being am I developing as I also develop. So what am I cultivating? So I think that goes with our empowerment. We want empowered human beings, empowered young generations, especially now that the young generations, Gen Z, ano pa ba yun?
Gen A, Gen
Millennial
B na nga Gen Beta na.
Alpha. Oh,
and
beta
Alpha.
na. Yes,
yeah.
alpha.
If you look at it, they're more normally, I mean, in general, rather, they're more empowered and are they able to speak out. In fact, I'd like to say that the reason we thought of that topic for MLA, for our parenting academy, is that if you look at the last elections, I think the Gen Z voters made all the difference.
Yes.
And also to note that 60% pala of voters are Gen Z. and below. So I think that generational, and I think Tina said, don't we don't label the generations because, for example, the millennials have been labeled as they're lazy, they're always complaining, etc. But what we need to do is nurture their assets that they able to contribute to our country. No, for example, they are creative. They have a lot of energy. They can think from out of the box, and they can say things when there are injustice. They can speak out, things like that, and they can make a difference. I think we need to really look at that and focus on how we can rear them or how we can treat them as human beings, co-human beings, with that kind of thought, that kind of aim or goal in mind. Now that they are human beings who can contribute, who have integrity, and are solid human beings who can stand up for themselves, but can also be very kind to others. I mean, we have to have a dream. We have to have that kind of a, dream actually, or goal, maybe dream, I think is a better word, so that we can be conscious and we can parent mindfully.
So beautifully said, the three of you, Tita Honey, Teacher Tina, Teacher Tanya. Maraming salamat for this very engaging conversation. And I don't know about you, the viewers, but I feel like everyone's just also listening. Parang there were a lot of goosebumps all over moments during this conversation. So we thank each and every one of you for tuning in, for also engaging in this conversation. Salamat sa pakikinig. And of course, maraming salamat to our guests, Teacher Tanya and Teacher Tina. It's such a nourishing conversation you've had with Dr. Han. And we thank you for, bringing this to mainstream discussion, this information to bite-sized, understandable wisdom, nuggets of wisdom. Maraming maraming salamat.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you to everyone.
Salamat.